make no little plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood. My fellow Chicagoans, in 1891, the great Daniel Burnham ordered us to make big plans. 58 years later, as your mayor, I followed that directive. The Near West Side has mostly been demolished to make way for the Congress Expressway. Getting rid of those slums to revitalize the Near West Side has made the work worthwhile. Sadly, as we head farther west, there are dissenters who say no to progress. WGN, who is covering my airtime, will allow you listeners to hear from the spokesman of the group called PAP, or Poles Against Pavement, based at St. Eulalia's Church. Go ahead, sir.
We got your flyer about construction. What, you couldn't even come down to our parish in person?
I need to talk to the PAP spokesman. Where is he?
You are talking to Mrs. Kaminsky from St. Eulalia's Parish. If this Burnham were alive, I'd tell him this plan don't stir our blood. It spoils it! Oh.
Burnham designed our beautiful lakefront. He knew what works for this city.
Where's he buried?
Buried? On a private island at Graceland Cemetery.
So he won't be moving out.
Moving? No, Graceland is an historic landmark.
Don't surprise me none. Even when dead, rich one's entitled to protection.
My quote is from the past, but let's talk about the living, shall we, Mrs. Kaminsky?
Right, Mr. Mayor, because you've done enough to the living. Sliced through Greek and Jewish neighborhoods in half, putting that road in, didn't you? Took out 400 local businesses, tore out their hearts with your wrecking ball. So, today we are going to talk about the dead, because that's who you're coming after next.
What are you talking about, Mrs. Kaminsky?
The dead, 3,500, including my husband, Stanley.
Where is your spokesman? I'm not able to follow you. Why would I be after your husband?
We all think you'd build the expressway over Forest Home Cemetery, but no, you got to save some bucks and plow through it.
Mrs. Kaminsky, cemeteries get in the way of progress. Happens all the time. If that land is needed for revival, no choice but to move them.
Them? Do you know who them is? Our families and neighbors. Them is my husband, Stanley.
I'm sure your Stanley was a fine man, but that's not the issue here.
Yes, this is about Stanley. My husband was a decent, hard-working man, not the kind to venture far. He liked to walk to the newsstand for Sunday paper, visit Pasek's bakery for kolochki, drink a beer at Slattery's.
I'm sure Stanley would understand building an expressway creates jobs. His friends and neighbors can be on a construction crew with overtime. Big plan, big money.
Ed Pasek don't want to build a road. He wants to bake kolaczkis. So don't go peddling us your big plans. Stanley and I made little plans, and I kept it. Bury him in the neighborhood he loved. See, he didn't know it was a slum.
I was referring to the areas we demolished closer to the city as slums.
Sure, call it a slum so nobody cares. We know better. Stanley picked out his plot in 1947, under a tree, near the veterans. He could never enlist because of his scoliosis, but he wanted to be near them, felt protected. We bought my plot too, saving our pennies, and I'll be right next to him. But you're gonna dig up my Stanley, plant him God knows where. Don't you got no respect for the dead, Mr. Mayor?
Mrs. Kaminsky, dead is dead.
If dead is dead, Then why does Burnham get a private island, Lake View? Because his family cares for him and wants him to rest in peace.
We will find a new area for your husband, I promise.
Stanley had a 3-day wake. Beautiful mass with prayers in Polish. I spent 2 weeks making pierogi. Got lots of praise for that. Neighbors still talking about his funeral. What now? Dig him up in the middle of the night? Plop him anywheres? No consecration, no prayers, exploding coffins!
Exploding coffins? You're talking utter nonsense, Mrs. Kaminsky.
You'll be digging during the summer, right? Record heat wave coming to Chicago. When the weather turns warm, casket becomes pressure cooker, bursts open, bam!
In the flyer, it explains construction will be mainly through the older sections.
Oh, yeah. All those poor souls that died in 1918, dig them up. Who cares anymore if they couldn't survive a simple flu?
This is the hard part for me, dealing with a misinformed group like PAP who can't read the writing on the wall. This expressway will rejuvenate deteriorating communities.
I'm proud to represent PAP, but we are truly the underdogs. Polish people have never had much of a voice. Our homeland invaded more than any other. 1939, Germans come through my town with tanks. And now you're coming through my town with bulldozers.
That is far-fetched and extreme, as are most of your comments, ma'am. Obviously, you're new to this level of discussion. I expected someone capable of embracing big plans.
I lived through a war. I seen big plans fail. Little plans stir men's souls. I made many, many little plans, each one building on the other. Baby steps, just to stay alive. Greatest lesson from little plans? Learn what don't work.
I can see that we don't agree on how to build a city. But as long as I'm in office, prepare for more slum clearance and neighborhood revival. But you were heard today.
Good, because Stanley got no voice as he is 6 feet under, same as the 3,500. But I got a voice, and I sure as hell can be heard. You want the Polish vote, Mr. Mayor?
What is it you want, Mrs. Kaminsky?
Stanley, buried at Graceland.
You know that's not going to happen.
Okay then, I want Cardinal Stritch.
Stritch, to do what?
After the bulldozers do their dirty work, consecrate new burial and give final rites for mass burials, taps for veterans, fresh flowers on graves year-round. WGN news coverage.
I'll see what I can do. No promises.
If you back down, beware of exploding coffins. I'll be on the lookout, and the first one there with my camera. Nice photo for the front page of the Daily News. Tribune? Genique, don't you think? Grandma's remains all gooey. Like you said, dead is dead.
Call my office on Monday morning.